Some of history's greatest breakthroughs weren't planned, they were happy accidents. It's a curious truth of human endeavor that for all our meticulous planning, our rigorous methodologies, and our relentless pursuit of specific goals, the universe often has other ideas, a moment of distraction, a forgotten experiment, a simple mistake. These are the seemingly insignificant events that can, quite unexpectedly, alter the course of our world forever. Not all accidental discoveries are made by seasoned scientists. Sometimes they come from simple childhood forgetfulness. He mixed a sugary soda powder with water in a cup, using a small wooden stick to stir. That night, the temperature hit a record low. The forgotten cup froze overnight. Curious, he pulled the frozen block out and tasted it. It was delicious. He called it the Epsicle. At his children's urging, he renamed it Popsicle. The treat became an immediate success. Yet its origin actually lies in an accidental discovery made in 1907 by a Belgian-born chemist living in New York, Leo Baekeland. He mixed phenol and formaldehyde and built a heavy iron vessel he called a Baekelizer to control the reaction. Instead of a liquid substitute, he created a hard, moldable material that became permanently solid and insoluble. It was strong, non-conductive, and heat-resistant. He had, almost by accident, stumbled upon the world's first truly synthetic plastic. He called it Bakelite. It was marketed as the material of 1,000 uses. Baekeland's search for a replacement had accidentally kick-started the age of plastics, a revolution that would define the 20th century and beyond. Our next tale takes us to the DuPont Chemical Company in 1938. A chemist named Dr. Roy Plunkett. They opened the valve on a TFE cylinder, expecting gas, but nothing came out. The gauge showed full pressure. They sawed it open. Instead of gas, they found a strange waxy white powder. The gas had polymerized into a solid. Tests showed it was incredibly slippery, chemically inert, and could withstand extreme temperatures. DuPont patented the material, calling it Teflon. Its non-stick properties made it famous for coating pots and pans, but its industrial, medical, and aerospace uses are equally important. Back in 1903, in a Parisian laboratory, the French chemist Edouard Benedictus was working. As he reached for something on a high shelf, he knocked a glass flask to the floor. It hit, cracked, but did not shatter. The flask had previously contained cellulose nitrate. A thin, transparent film had lined the glass and held it together on impact. After reading about injuries from flying glass, he realized his accidental discovery could save lives. He coated glass deliberately and developed the world's first safety glass, Malodotse Ketcham, now used in cars and buildings worldwide. If you're enjoying this list, don't forget to subscribe for more curious stories. For Swiss engineer Georges de Mestral, inspiration struck during a walk in the Alps in 1941. After his hike, he began picking burrs from his trousers and his dog's fur, a tedious chore that sparked curiosity. Under a microscope, he saw hundreds of tiny hooks that latch onto loops of fabric and fur, a perfect natural hook and loop system. He spent the next decade experimenting with materials until nylon produced durable hooks and resilient loops. He named it Velcro. From velour and crochet, it was slow to catch on, but it eventually found uses everywhere. From children's shoes to the International Space Station, that dog walk inspired a fastening system that traveled to the moon. The year is 1886. In Atlanta, a pharmacist named John Pemberton was on a quest. He brewed a fragrant caramel-colored syrup containing extracts from the coca leaf and cola nuts, a patent medicine nerve tonic. A soda fountain operator, feeling lazy, mixed the syrup with soda water instead of still water. The customer agreed. The combination of sweet syrup with crisp effervescence was a revelation. The customer loved it, and soon everyone wanted it. That lazy mistake transformed Tahoe Local Tonic into the world's most famous sparkling beverage, a global symbol of culture and commerce. From a pharmacy counter to a global brand, such a simple pour changed history. Back in 1968, Dr. Spencer Silver at 3M was trying to create a super strong aerospace adhesive. Instead, he created a remarkably weak adhesive, sticky enough to hold, peelable without residue, and reusable. By the project's standards, it was a failure. Then, in 1974, Art Fry, frustrated with falling bookmarks during choir rehearsals, remembered Spencer's useless adhesive. He applied the glue to a paper bookmark. It held the page but came off cleanly. The solution found its problem. After initial resistance, the post-it note was born, now everywhere. A failed aerospace adhesive became an office essential. Proof that a failure can become ubiquitous utility. We now leap forward to 1945. Percy Spencer, a self-taught engineer at Raytheon, was testing a magnetron, a high-powered vacuum tube that generates microwaves. He reached into his pocket for a snack and found his peanut cluster bar had become a gooey mess. Curious, he tested popcorn near the magnetron. Coca-Cola kernels danced and popped, and an egg cooked from the inside and exploded. And Spencer had accidentally discovered a new way to cook. And he and Raytheon built the first microwave. The radar range, huge and expensive at first. And the principle was Parmames was proven, and the appliance found its home in billions of kitchens, changing how we cook and eat. That melted chocolate bar set the foundation for one of the most common modern conveniences. Let us now travel back to the year 1895 to Würzburg, Germany. A physicist named Wilhelm Röntgen was conducting experiments in the dark. He had covered his discharge tube with heavy cardboard, yet a nearby fluorescent screen glowed. An unknown ray was passing through the cardboard. He began placing objects between the tube and screen: paper, wood, a book, and then his hand. To his astonishment, the shadowy image of bones appeared. He had discovered a new form of radiation: X-rays. Within weeks, news spread worldwide. Doctors could now look inside the body without incision. It allowed diagnosis of fractures, locating foreign objects, and not the study of internal organs, but revolutionizing medical imaging forever. And our story begins in the year 1928 in the rather untidy laboratory of a Scottish scientist named Alexander Fleming. Upon returning from a little he sorted through petri dishes containing colonies of Staphylococcus. One dish had been contaminated with a blue-green mold. Around the mold, a clear ring had formed. In that halo, the bacteria had been destroyed. He realized the mold was secreting something lethal to bacteria. He called it mold juice before later christening it penicillin. Though mass production later required other scientists, Fleming's accidental discovery fired the first shot in an antibiotic revolution. Before penicillin, a simple scratch could be fatal. Penicillin saved untold millions and changed modern medicine forever. So there we have it. From a life-saving medicine to a world-famous beverage, from a kitchen convenience to the very fabric of the modern age. As we've seen, some of the most transformative innovations were not the product of grand design. They blossomed in the fertile ground of happenstance and observation. It highlights the importance of curiosity, of looking at a failure and seeing opportunity, of noticing the unusual and asking why. The mold on the petri dish, the melted chocolate, the burr on the dog's fur. These were invitations for an observant mind to connect dots no one had before. Sometimes the biggest leaps forward come from pure chance. And progress is not always a straight line. Often messy, unpredictable, and wonderfully surprising. 10-minute story. Every day, a new pill of curiosity.